The stars above were silent witnesses, distant and indifferent, until the sudden gleam of a massive vessel broke the void like a promise. Humanity had always looked to the heavens with wonder, with curiosity, yet no one could have imagined the truth hidden beneath the veil of peace and progress. On Earth, life had gone on, cities bustling, oceans rolling, skies alive with satellites, but humanity's architects of war had been building something far greater than anyone knew. In orbit, massive warships stirred, their hulls sleek yet impossibly vast, glinting under the sun like monuments of defiance. Each vessel was an apex of human ingenuity, designed not just to survive but to confront forces that had dominated entire star systems for millennia. The first flicker of their engines, subtle yet ominous, announced that the quiet civilization beneath had been hiding a heartbeat of unmatched power. Humanity had waited, biding time, learning, observing, perfecting a symphony of technology and strategy that now rose like a tide against the dark. On the surface, the world remained unaware of the scale until energy pulses from orbital systems lit the sky. Engineers and scientists, once shadows behind the scenes, now moved with purpose in command hubs, orchestrating the awakening of warships whose very presence altered the planet's electromagnetic field. Cities trembled faintly as the immense energy signature spread across continents. A silent reminder that Earth was no longer merely inhabited, it was armed. The first signals from the void arrived, not with the clatter of missiles or roar of engines, but as distant pulses that hinted at intelligence far older, far more advanced than humanity itself. Alien eyes, or something beyond eyes, were observing, cataloging, perhaps dismissive. Yet in those calculations, they had underestimated the one element that no algorithm could contain: human unpredictability. Humanity's response was not panic, it was a slow, deliberate reveal, the crescendo of centuries of ingenuity finally unmasked. In orbit, fleets moved with fluid coordination, massive warships cutting across orbital paths with grace. Engines pulsing like the lifeblood of a new era. Every vessel was a fusion of engineering brilliance and adaptive AI, a combination that blurred the lines between instinct and calculation. Human crews guided these titanic machines not with fear, but with clarity, their minds entwined with systems that anticipated and augmented their decisions, yet still relied on the spark of human intuition. On Earth, a quiet tension spread across the world. From the highest peaks to the deepest underground laboratories, humans watched the unfolding revelation, understanding that the age of concealment had ended. Children learned the language of resilience alongside their lessons of history, soldiers trained not merely to fight, but to improvise, to anticipate, to survive. Humanity had become a species in waiting, and now the wait was over, and then the first movement came, a ripple through space, a subtle disturbance that betrayed the approach of forces unknown. The alien presence, vast and inscrutable, began to probe, sending streaks of energy and constructs that shimmered with impossible geometry. Yet humanity's warships, massive and deliberate, did not recoil. They moved in arcs and angles that seemed impossible, weaving patterns that only human intuition could conceive, and in that movement was a message: Earth had hidden a force that would not bend, would not yield, and would not be dismissed. Below. Humanity paused to watch the sky, the first real sight of their hidden might revealed. All mixed with pride, fear tempered by understanding, as the scale of what had been concealed became undeniable. Civilization had survived countless crises, yet nothing had demanded the unity, the courage, and the ingenuity that this moment would require. And as the stars watched silently, humanity's heart pulsed boldly through the void, ready to confront what had always seemed inevitable, that the universe might finally know the true strength of Earth. The first engines flared, light spilling across the curvature of the planet, and the silent cosmos listened, aware that humanity had awakened, and would no longer be underestimated. The alien presence had shifted, its form coalescing into shapes that defied understanding, stretching across space with an elegance that was both mesmerizing and terrifying. Yet humanity did not falter. From the depths of underground command centers to orbital bridges above, every mind worked in synchrony, weaving tactics that balanced instinct, calculation, and audacious improvisation. Every calculation the invaders made was met with a human response they could not predict, a reminder that adaptability was as lethal as any weapon. on Earth, the planet itself became an instrument of strategy. Rivers were subtly redirected to flood potential landing zones, mountain passes reinforced with concealed energy cannons, and deserts filled with autonomous traps that shimmered in the heat like mirages of menace. Every ecosystem, once passive and untamed, had become part of the hidden arsenal that humanity had built in silence. Engineers and soldiers worked together, improvising in real time, turning vulnerability into advantage and improvisation into a weapon of survival. In orbit, the warships moved like living entities, massive hulls bending light and energy as they maneuvered across the void. The Aegis Vanguard led the formation, its surface a tapestry of reinforced alloys and adaptive weaponry, engines pulsing with a rhythm that resonated across space. Smaller vessels weaved around it, drones and interceptors moving in patterns that no alien intelligence could fully anticipate. Each strike, each evasive maneuver, was a testament to humanity's relentless ingenuity, a species that had learned to turn chaos into opportunity. The first clash came as a wave of alien constructs descended through the stratosphere, shimmering with colors beyond the visible spectrum, their energy fields rippling with calculated intent. Humans responded with precision and creativity. Beams of focused energy intersected with gravity wells to trap alien vessels, while kinetic projectiles launched from orbital platforms tore through formation gaps. Each engagement was both brutal and beautiful, a dance of intellect, timing, and courage that turned raw power into strategy. Amid the battle, moments of quiet defiance persisted. Children watched from observation shelters as mentors explained the strategy in whispered awe. Scientists analyzed alien behavior in real time, using every anomaly as a foothold for countermeasures. Even civilians played their part, coordinating supply networks, signaling traps, and sustaining morale. Humanity's strength lay not in one hero, one weapon, or one ship, but in the collective intelligence of a species that refused to be broken. The alien presence, vast and intelligent, adapted and countered, but every attempt revealed a new vulnerability. Humans had learned to think in layers, to anticipate not patterns but chaos itself. Every failure became a lesson. Every victory a stepping stone to mastery over the unknown. As the sky pulsed with energy and fire, one truth became clear across the planet and orbiting fleets alike: Earth was no longer defenseless, and humanity had revealed its true face. And in the quiet that followed the first wave, as distant energy pulses faded into the void, humans looked up together and understood. The universe had assumed silence, and humanity had responded with a roar. The alien constructs recoiled and reformed, vast and fluid, stretching across orbital space like ribbons of light and energy, probing for weakness with intelligence that spanned millennia. Yet humanity moved with a confidence born of preparation, of ingenuity, and of audacity. The warships in orbit twisted and turned through gravitational turbulence, engines flaring in synchronized bursts, while smaller interceptors darted like living sparks, exploiting openings invisible to any cold, alien calculation. Below, the planet itself became a stage for resistance. Mountain fortresses concealed adaptive railguns, valleys served as natural choke points, and deserts were rigged with energy traps that shimmered faintly under the sun's glare. Every river, coastline, and urban center had been mapped and transformed into part of a network that funneled alien forces into disadvantageous positions. Humanity had learned to fight not as isolated units but as a collective mind. Each human and machine moving in tandem, turning improvisation into strategy. The Aegis Vanguard pulsed with energy as it guided the fleet through a sudden onslaught. Alien vessels twisted through the void with impossible speed, yet the human formation responded in fluid arcs, weaving between energy fields and exploiting gravitational eddies. Laser strikes, kinetic projectiles, and improvised countermeasures converged in bursts of color and light, painting the darkness of space with a violent yet mesmerizing display. Each engagement was a lesson carved into the memory of every observer, teaching patience, calculation, and the power of human creativity under pressure. On Earth, moments of quiet courage persisted. Engineers rerouted power grids to fuel hidden weapon systems, civilians coordinated with military forces to relay information, create decoys, and sustain vital infrastructure. Every human, whether above or below ground, contributed to the dance of survival. They were small individually, yet immense collectively, their combined ingenuity amplifying the strength of the planet itself. The alien presence began to hesitate, a subtle shift in its movements betraying uncertainty. Patterns that once seemed absolute now faltered in the face of unpredictability. Humans had learned to exploit that hesitation, sending waves of misdirection, false signals, and unexpected maneuvers that disrupted formations and dismantled strategy. Humanity had become a force not defined by size or power, but by adaptability, creativity, and relentless defiance. As night fell across continents and orbital fleets alike, Earth pulsed with quiet pride. Humans watched the sky, understood the scale of the threat, and yet felt no fear, only the calm certainty of a species that had turned concealment into preparation, weakness into strength, and uncertainty into opportunity. The alien presence, vast and intelligent, had learned for the first time that predicting humans was a perilous endeavor, and as the stars gleamed silently above, humanity waited, ready for the next movement. Knowing one undeniable truth, they had revealed themselves, and the universe would never underestimate Earth again. The sky over Earth shimmered with faint pulses of alien energy, a subtle rhythm that stretched across the atmosphere like veins of light. Humanity's response was precise, deliberate, and unyielding. Orbital warships moved with fluid grace, weaving through the void as if space itself bent to human intent. Every maneuver was both calculated and instinctive, blending AI precision with the spark of human intuition that no machine could replicate. On the surface, hidden defenses hummed to life. Mountain ranges concealed energy cannons, rivers and coastlines had been reshaped to create traps. Deserts glimmered with autonomous sensors and drones. Engineers, soldiers, and civilians worked as one, orchestrating movements that transformed the planet into a living weapon. Improvisation became strategy, and chaos became a canvas for ingenuity. Alien constructs descended in shimmering waves, testing human resolve. Their geometry defied comprehension, their energy radiated with intent. Yet humanity did not falter. Every strike was countered, every approach anticipated, every vulnerability exploited. Humans had learned to read patterns not for replication, but for disruption. Every failure became a lesson, every micro-victory a step toward mastery of the unknown, even in moments of quiet. Humans showed their courage. Families watched the skies from shelter, scientists recalibrated defensive arrays, and soldiers executed precision strikes with calm determination. The strength of humanity was not in one hero or one warship, it was the collective intelligence, adaptability, and unbreakable will of an entire species. The alien presence hesitated, its movements faltering under the unpredictable ingenuity of Earth's defenders. Humanity had turned concealment into revelation, weakness into advantage, and fear into purpose. And as night fell, the planet itself seemed to pulse with quiet pride, a living testament to the species that refused to yield. The universe had taken note, Earth was awake. And humanity would not be underestimated. The alien forces regrouped, their shimmering construct stretching across orbital space like liquid metal, vast and relentless, yet humanity had grown in anticipation, in ingenuity, and in resolve. Every human mind, every machine, and every vessel moved as part of a larger pattern, a choreography of survival that blended instinct with calculated strategy. The void itself seemed alive with their defiance, each pulse of energy a statement. Earth would not bend, would not falter, and would not surrender. On the planet's surface, Earth became a battlefield of both subtle and devastating power. Hidden artillery fired with surgical precision from mountain fortresses. Rivers shifted to funnel enemies into traps, autonomous drones patrolled deserts and forests, striking with timing that only human ingenuity could orchestrate. Engineers rerouted energy from cities into concealed weapons platforms, while scientists decoded alien movements in real time, using every anomaly as a weapon. Civilization had become a single organism, every action reinforcing the other, every mind contributing to the greater strategy. In orbit, the Aegis Vanguard and its fleet moved like living titans. Massive engines bent light and gravity, maneuvering through turbulence and energy fields that seemed designed to crush them. Smaller interceptors darted unpredictably, weaving between alien constructs with astonishing speed. Every strike from human weapons was precise, adaptive, and unexpected, turning the aliens' own momentum against them. The invaders had never faced an enemy that combined calculation with creativity, and their patterns faltered under the relentless unpredictability of Earth's defenders. Humanity's courage was not confined to battle stations and warships. Civilians coordinated critical intelligence, children learned the strategies of survival under mentorship, and scientists improvised solutions that turned potential disaster into advantage. Every corner of the planet contributed to the fight, every human heartbeat syncing with the rhythm of resistance. The species' strength was not merely technological, it was moral, intellectual, and indefatigable. The alien presence, for the first time, hesitated. Their vast intelligence could not fully anticipate the fusion of human intuition, creativity, and improvisation. Fleets that had seemed unstoppable faltered, constructs fractured and recoiled, unable to predict the chaotic yet deliberate responses of their opponents. Humanity had revealed its secret not through brute force alone, but through ingenuity, adaptability, and an unshakable will to survive and prevail. As night blanketed the planet, Earth pulsed with life, strategy, and quiet pride. Humans gazed skyward, feeling the weight of history and the surge of purpose. They had endured, adapted, and countered, proving that intelligence, courage, and unity could triumph over overwhelming power. Every calculation, every improvised strike, every act of courage was a declaration: Earth would survive, and humanity would rise. The universe had delivered its test, and humanity had answered with brilliance, audacity, and unyielding defiance. The final moments of the engagement hung in the void like a held breath. Alien constructs shimmered and twisted, probing for weakness, yet every movement was met with human unpredictability. Warships moved with fluid precision, weaving through gravitational eddies and energy pulses, their engines pulsing like the heartbeat of an awakened civilization. Every strike and maneuver was deliberate, yet alive with the spark of ingenuity that no calculation could contain. On Earth, defenses remained vigilant. Concealed artillery, rivers redirected, and autonomous drones acted in perfect harmony, striking where opportunity arose. Engineers and civilians worked alongside soldiers, improvising and adapting, their combined creativity turning every potential vulnerability into an advantage. Humanity's strength was woven into every action, every system, every heartbeat across the planet. The alien presence began to falter, its patterns fracturing under the relentless ingenuity of humans. Every maneuver it attempted was anticipated, countered, and exploited. Humanity had revealed its true power, not in numbers or raw strength, but in intelligence, adaptability, and an unbreakable will. The vast, inscrutable invaders recoiled before a species they had assumed would be insignificant. As stars glimmered coldly above, humans paused, not in fear, but with calm resolve. Earth had endured the impossible, and the lesson was clear: intelligence and courage could rival the vastness of the cosmos itself. Every fleet, every hidden weapon, every human mind had proven that survival was not enough. It was mastery, defiance, and the assertion that Earth belonged to those who would fight for it. The alien presence withdrew, uncertain and diminished, leaving the planet and its defenders standing. Humanity had revealed itself, and in doing so, had claimed its place among the stars. Earth had survived, and humanity had risen.